Hi everyone. Welcome to your evening meditation. Just going somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed for the next 20 minutes or so. I'm going to do a little bit of a different meditation today. It's based on a 10-step letting go process that I've created based on the teachings of A Course in Miracles. Just making yourself comfortable somewhere, sitting on a chair, sitting cross-legged, feet shoulder-width apart. Cup your hands in your lap, keep your back straight. Make sure you're comfortable and your back is straight. Closing your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So just breathing in, notice how the stomach rises, the chest rises. So you're breathing in air into the belly button. Just like you're raising this life energy up into your heart center. One hand on your heart. Draw the energy up the spine. Into the crown of your head. Squeeze the sphincter muscle. That's the muscle used to contract the flow of urine. Squeeze the last drops out. That creates an energy lock and a pumping action. And then you simultaneously draw the energy. You feel this warm, tingling thread of energy flowing up to the crown of your head. Take another sip of air there. Just pause at the top of the inhale. Smile and just check in. So you're just going to notice whatever's bothering you. If there's any kind of fear, irritation, anger, sadness, guilt, grievances, resentment, and so on. Particularly if there's some situation, we're going to work with a particular situation that's causing you any kind of distress, any kind of disturbance of your peace. So just notice that briefly. And you're going to acknowledge that feeling. Just bring to mind the thoughts and emotions. Notice the feelings. Notice how that shows up for you physically. So maybe it's a knot in your stomach, a tightness in your chest, dry mouth, sweaty palms, nausea, panic attacks at the extreme. And just be aware of it. So the first 2 steps in the process, acknowledging it, and then just being aware of it. So exhale out the mouth. Just imagine that you're releasing some of this. You're just blowing it out like a black smoke out of your mouth. Emptying yourself. And in this emptiness, pull the lower stomach into the spine. Just find a fullness. There's an awareness and there's a peace that starts to arise. And you're somewhat detached. Just don't let yourself react emotionally to any of these thoughts. And you can see yourself as being somewhat separate from the thoughts and emotions. So you're observing in the mind of the person that you thought was you previously. So breathing in. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Filling up the lower stomach. Blowing it up like a balloon into the heart center. Just drawing the energy up the spine. And if you're finding it difficult to come into the present moment, just briefly open your eyes and look up to the ceiling as you breathe in. A maximal inhale breath. And you should find that just kind of blanks your mind. keeps your mind clear, so that there's just an awareness and there's no real thought or emotion going on in this moment. And now you're going to exhale, just blowing it all out with the breath, letting it all go, just letting this energy subside back down into the lower stomach. Again, emptying yourself. In the pause, smile, and just remind yourself that this is something of an illusion, or a dream if you prefer. So whatever the situation is, seems to be causing you any kind of negativity, it's part of a dream, your dream experience of the world. Your perception of it has a dreamlike quality. There's nothing solid about perception at all. So breathe in again, nice deep inhale breath, filling the lungs, lower stomach, to your heart center. Feel this energy rising up the spine, drawing it up with the breath. It's clenching the sphincter muscle. Remind yourself that whatever seems to be upsetting you is just part of this perceptual dream created by a part of your mind we call the ego. Really wants to be separate. It's a separate identity that's ultimately false. Well, it seems to be very real, and the things that it shows you can be very fearful, apparently. Just by reminding yourself that it's a dream. We've all had a dream at night, nightmares, and then we wake up and we go, oh, thank God that was only a dream. And maybe this world, this life we seem to be living is just another version of it. Maybe more seemingly real, but as you exhale, just have a sense of letting go of some of your attachment to the dream, some of your upset. So you're really getting upset over nothing if it's a dream. This step may seem impossible and incomprehensible to your rational mind, but it's really just your ego's resistance to the truth. Just be willing to do the step, just to think the thoughts. This is a dream. Immediately you do that, part of your mind starts to recognize the truth. This is what, of course, calls the Holy Spirit. Just be willing to think the thoughts, think that these characters in the dream, including yourself, are really just that, they're characters or figures in the dream. So you're telling your mind the real reason that it should let go. It's an attachment to these false thoughts and perceptions. So breathing in again. Nice deep inhale. As you inhale, just remind yourself that on this particular situation is a projection. It means that it's projected out of your mind onto the screen of time and space. It's a 4-dimensional screen with 3 dimensions of this world, and then time is the 4th dimension. So it appears to be outside and independent of you, but it's really only one mind that's dreaming the dream of the universe, and the lives apparently being lived out in time and space. So whatever someone appears to be doing to you, you are in fact doing to yourself out of your own unconscious guilt that you projected out into the illusion or the dream and manifested in the form of the situation and the person or people who appears to be causing you to suffer, making you a victim. So as you exhale, just have a sense of letting go of some of your attachment to the story, just by recognizing that it's a projection of your own mind, and that you can't be the victim of your own projection if you're creating it. And the idea that you're a victim is insane. It's our projections that then lead to these situations, that then lead to our perceptions of the world. So it is always you who are responsible for creating your reality, especially when it seems that you're not, especially when you seem to be the victim of a situation. That's exactly when you need to remember the truth. So breathing in, nice deep breath in again, and just like you're breathing in the essence of compassion. Put one hand on your heart. You're breathing love and compassion into your heart center. Just be compassionate towards yourself and all others involved in the situation. Knowing that you and they are doing the best they can in their current state of consciousness. All unconscious, unloving behavior happens because people don't feel loved. So rather than your judgment and your condemnation, which only makes the situation worse, strengthens your ego. Just choose to let go of these destructive thoughts and emotions. So any kind of anger, any fear, any attack thoughts, just let them all go. Enter into your heart space, just putting all your attention in your heart. Heart's the center of compassion. You can kind of just understand. Understanding precedes compassion. That everyone's just acting out of their own thoughts and emotions. They may be dysfunctional, they may be seemingly highly destructive, but in that person's mind, they make sense. That's what they believe is the best way to operate. So now as you breathe in again, a deep breath in through the nose, filling up the lower stomach, breathing into your heart center, into your upper chest, into your head, drawing the energy up into the crown of your head. Just feel the emotions evoked by the thoughts that you brought up. This particular situation, the person or people involved. Just allow yourself to experience all the pain and the discomfort of these emotions. Really feel them just for 30 seconds or a minute. Another part of your mind is very aware that this is just part of a healing process. So you don't allow them to suck you into a downward spiral of negativity that becomes very hard to pull yourself out of. So for this reason, don't spend very long, just notice them, observe them, feel the pain. Usually it's emotional pain. Notice how that shows up in your body. Maybe there's a knot in your stomach, clenched jaw, clenched fists, dry mouth, sweaty palms. The extreme nausea, panic attacks can come just from your thoughts and your emotions because they activate very powerful chemicals in your body, stress chemicals, which mobilize parts of your body, and they give you powerful feelings, powerful emotions. So now you're just going to choose, with the help of your breath, just to let go of all of this. So blow it all out. Imagine blowing it away like dark clouds. Just blowing them away with the wind of your breath. Letting it all go into the nothingness that it really is. Letting it all go. Finding the peace beyond it. And now breathe in again. And you're just going to breathe in a beautiful light, golden or white light. And breathing the light into your stomach, into your heart center. Just visualize light flowing into you, to every pore of your body, every cell, every muscle. Just breathing in the light. It's getting stronger and brighter. In the light, no darkness is possible. So you just feel any remaining darkness, or whatever you call that, fear, anger, resentment, grievances, hatred, jealousy, rage. Just blow it all out like a black smoke out of your mouth. Just letting it all go to the nothingness that it truly is. It always was. As real as it seemed to be, the fact that you can let it go means that it simply was not real. Pull the lower stomach into the spine so you're completely empty of air and negativity. Just rest here for a few moments in the stillness of the gap between breaths. Smile. You feel a sense of release and freedom that comes when you let go of the pain. When you stop holding on. So breathe in again. Breathing in the light into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every corner of your mind, every fiber of your being. And in this light, maybe you can start to see truly that really this situation was perfect. It was perfect in its apparent imperfection. Because it's really helped you to just become aware of your own pain and negativity, which really keep you enslaved. And so it was a letting go opportunity, a forgiveness opportunity to help you to bring up some of the subconscious pain and the darkness of the ego, to look at it and then to release it, to let it go. It's brought your unconscious guilt, fear, anger, grievances, any other egoic emotions may have remained buried in your subconscious mind because we suppress these things, or we repress them. We deny they're there. We don't want to deal with them. Don't want to look at them because they're too painful. But they need to be looked at. There needs to be an awareness before you can release them. And become aware again of the perfect peace, love, and joy that are your true nature and what you really deserve to feel all the time. So just blowing it all out and sinking into this peace, this love, this joy. Feel the light growing in intensity. As you release the darkness, the light comes in. It's just how it works. If you struggle with feeling deservable of any of this, this goes against your ego's identity of being worthless and undeserving. Just do the step. Just be willing to practice. Follow my guidance, do the breaths, think the thoughts. And in time, a deeper understanding and a deeper letting go will come if you practice this process frequently and whatever arises. So breathing in again, and just breathing in gratitude. The essence of gratitude is the same as love. Two go hand in hand. Like love and gratitude. It's the most beautiful water crystal that a guy by the name of Masaru Emoto, who photographed these crystals of ice that have been exposed to frequencies of thought, like love and gratitude. And he was of the opinion that love and gratitude, the combination of those, was the most beautiful. So breathe in that beauty, that peace, love, that gratitude into every pore, every cell of your body, every fiber of your being, every corner of your mind, and just thank the personal people involved and the entire situation for being your teacher and for giving you the gift of bringing your ego's negative thoughts and emotions to your attention so you can release them and you can be freed from all the suffering that they've caused you and others. That's the purpose of this whole situation. Just got to remember that always. That's why we go through these steps. So you're actually grateful to this person, even if they apparently hurt you, harmed your interests in some way, which you thought were your best interests. They're actually helping you to free yourself. So exhale. As you exhale, just blowing any last remaining grievances, resentment out. Way to tell whether you've really forgiven is if you can really be grateful to that person or people involved in the situation who previously made you very angry and upset. And so just feel that gratitude extending from you. Kind of visualize it as a light extending out to that person or people involved in the situation. Smile as you do that. It's in the extension of love. You recognize again that you already won. That these things cannot separate you in truth. And now just forgive and release completely. So exhale, just sigh it all out, surrender it all. Say to yourself that you've totally forgiven or let go of the whole situation, the people involved in the situation, and yourself for all your thoughts, your words, and your actions related to the situation. That it's been dissolved into the nothingness that it always was, and you and everyone else involved has been healed through your forgiveness. Just say to yourself, as an affirmation of this, I forgive you, whoever, and I'm forgiven completely. All is forgiven and released completely. We always are, have been, and will be one self. So I love you unconditionally as my capital self. And with that instruction to your mind, just sink in to the oneness, to the love. And hopefully you're feeling forgiven. Just allowing yourself to go there, sinking deeply into your mind, going deeper and deeper with each passing breath. Just step back, watch your breath. Let go of everything else and just sink into the love, the oneness, and the gratitude that are all there for the next 2 minutes of silence. Just breathe, relax, be still, watch your breath, and be the love that you truly are. And if any thoughts come up, just noticing them in a very calm, detached way, and letting them go with your breath. Imagine they're just like cloud patterns drifting by in the sky. Just blow them away. The wind of your breath. Turn your attention to the eternally serene sky, which is your true awareness. For another minute of silence, just sink into that place of love, peace, gratitude, joy. Everything that you really want is there. So go there completely for another minute of silence. And so just very gently, on the count of 3, you're going to bring your awareness back into your body through the breath. Same way we entered the meditation, we're going to come out of it. So breathing in, notice how the stomach rises, chest rises, subtle flow of air into the nostrils. Just pause at the top of the inhale, smile. Just finding the peace and the stillness and the love and the gratitude in the gap between breaths. They're still there. And you're coming back into the awareness of your senses. It can never really go away. They are the intrinsic, inherent part of your mind. So exhale on the truth of that. Just sigh it all out, making a sighing sound in the back of your throat. So you're fogging sunglasses, but you keep your mouth closed. Notice the air flowing out of your nostrils, the chest and the stomach suck back in. The energy subsides back down from the crown of your head down into the lower stomach. Just pause at the bottom of the exhale. And your attention is down there, just noticing the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground, whatever else your body's feeling, touching. Breathe in again, 2, just noticing subtle smell in your nose, a taste in your mouth perhaps. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Noticing all these things from this very calm, surrendered state of mind. There's no attempt to name these things or judge them or label them. You just allow them to be as they are. And you notice that there's this underlying peace. If your mind is not judging, then by default it's at peace. And so 3, open your eyes, gently look around. So just noticing whatever else is going on, surrounding environment, letting your eyes rest randomly on various objects in the room, if you happen to be in a room, for 2 or 3 seconds, and then move on to something else, and then again something else. Again, don't name anything or judge it or label it. Just allow it to Allow it to be. Notice the peace that's still there. So you're training your mind in this non-judgmental perception, which is really how you can remain forgiving moment by moment. You simply don't train your mind not to judge, not to interpret, mentally label, and then create a story. So this is where the mind starts becoming dysfunctional and causing a lot of suffering to ourselves and others. So thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this meditation. And if you're on the Ask Letting Go group, I'm going to say good night to you. Hope you have a very peaceful sleep. If you're out there on YouTube, just stay tuned. We're going to have a little chat about the process and also about the Art of Letting Go community and program for the next 10 or 15 minutes. So stay tuned. Okay. You with us, Karen?
I am.
Good.
Thank you.
So, did you fall asleep in that or not?
So that was very soothing.
Okay.
I could quite have easily fallen asleep, but it was way too interesting.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's a little that 10-step process. You can see the screen. The 10-step process is put together based on the teachings of the Course in Miracles. It's kind of a summary of the how-to, really. I mean, as you know, the Course is a big, thick book with many teachings and many ideas. There's many lessons, and I think the thing that people struggle with is to synthesize it all. So, like, okay, how do I actually do this on a practical level? And so I put this process together just to help people to kind of work through systematically this process of forgiveness. And there's other ways, but they're all fairly similar. It all involves a process, really. There's two major steps. And the first step is to become aware, to be aware of those thoughts and emotions. If you're not aware, then you can't look at them and you can't choose to let them go, which is the second step. So, and there's a couple of steps in between just to kind of create some context. So once you acknowledge them and become aware of them, that's the first two steps. You then remind yourself that it's really an illusion or a dream. And even if you haven't studied the Course or non-dual spiritual paths, where I think we can all kind of relate to the idea of a dream. We've all had dreams at night. That you can have a dream and it can be incredibly real. It can seem very real, very vivid, very frightening sometimes. And yet then you wake up and the dream is gone. It's just that whole situation disappears. Where did it go to? It was only in your mind. So the idea of this teaching is that the world is something of that, except it's just more real seeming. It's not as easy just to wake up from it and go, oh, I'm just awakening, like we're awakened from a dream at night, and it's gone. It's seemingly a little bit harder. It's like another level of a dream, but a dream nevertheless. And so if you can just remind yourself of that kind of creates a context in which you can let it go, because you're like, it's only a dream experience. Then why am I getting so upset about it, or fearful, or angry, or whatever the emotion is?
It was quite interesting because that actually, like, that part reminded me of the discussion we had before with Gary Rennet and the disappearance of the universe, and how that book, out of all books, came to my mind during the discussion. And I saw that at the bottom of the screen, it actually recommends to read The Disappearance of the Universe. I was like, wow, all the books. So was quite interesting. And that illusion, that dream thing. I mean, lately, I think for me, I've been very clear and very conscious of certain things. Is that dream that used to feel like a nightmare with me kind of stays with me through the day, and I find myself processing it and thinking that was as much as a dream as this reality is a dream, an illusion. Just to get a little bit more perspective, makes you feel not that important.
Yeah, which means all of your dramas and your fears and anxieties and worries and whatever, it's like it's just a dream.
Yeah.
How can it be that important if it's just a dream? So it's even I'm not sure you ever do fully grasp it in this lifetime, but just by being willing to think these thoughts, just do it. As the course teaches, Jesus teaches in the workbook, he says you don't have to understand this stuff. You just have to practice it. Just think the thoughts. Just do the exercises I'm going to give you. Go through the process, and in the process of doing that, you are training your mind. There's a mind training aspect going on because you're thinking those thoughts, even if you don't believe them yet.
That goes to the John Kehoe.
Think the thoughts enough times, eventually you will start to believe it.
That goes to the John Kehoe mind power kind of things, where the basketball team practiced physically, practiced just in their minds, and then practiced in both. And it was such a stark result. But I don't know if you saw, just back to the Disappearance of the Universe book, I found the Course in Miracles, I found the date, and I sent you a screenshot. I'd actually ordered that disappearance book, and it disappeared. Like, I paid for it and received it, and
it's gone.
It's gone.
You don't know where.
and I don't just lose stuff or give stuff away.
Oh.
So I trust that it is appropriate when it's appropriate.
Obviously, it wasn't meant for you 7 years ago, whenever. That's sort of the thing with this is that there's another power, there's another spirit, if you like. The Course calls it the Holy Spirit. Call it many things. Your intuition, higher power, the soul, the Atman. I like the Urantia book calls it the thought adjuster, which is quite a nice way of looking at it. There's something in you that just kind of knows that what you need when you need it. And if you can go with that and just surrender to it, and life becomes easier because it's actually taking you in the direction that you need to go for your soul growth, your spiritual evolution. Obviously, there's another voice as well, which is trying to block that. As we know, that's the ego, desperately trying to hang on to the status quo. But this process is you can use with anything. It could be with a major grievance. It could be with a fear. You mentioned, business you started, stuff's coming up around that. You can use this process with anything because it's just working with your own thoughts and emotions about anything. It can be a person, a situation. Usually there's people involved, but it could be, I'm really scared of starting a business, for example. But on the other hand, I feel like I should. And now I've got a conflict. So it's actually a tool for decision making in a way.
Wow.
It's a tool for decision making. Yeah, you can if you can collapse your fear or whatever the negativity is, and you can get clear through this process, then you're in a good place to make an inspired decision, which is what we have to do in this world. We've got to make decisions. We've got to make choices. But where they're coming from? Are they coming from, the ego side, fear, and they're really clouded, in which case they're going to have negative consequences. Or are they really inspired? Were you really in the flow, in the spirit? There was no fear, when you made them, or they were made for you. It's almost like something else comes in, and when you let go of everything else, then almost there's nothing else left but the answer, and that will come in whatever way. That might just be a thought pops into your head. It might be a book you read. It might be a conversation you have. It might be a signpost, a billboard, a movie, a poem, an email. There's many ways that this can unfold. Because it's a projection of your mind. If everything's projected, then the negative stuff, but also the positive stuff is, if what you really need, if the call of your heart is to awaken, and there's something that you really need, then it will come in the projection by the same law as the negative stuff comes. There's the law of it, law of attraction. We creating it on some level. It's not a conscious level. So actually, the most powerful form of manifestation is forgiveness. Think about that. That's really essentially what the Course is teaching. A miracle is something on the level of the world. Often it shows up in the world as, an event, a circumstance, a person, a relationship is improved, whatever. Physical healing happens. You get, what you need when you need it, etc. But the best way is to actually just let go of trying to do it yourself. Just to kind of drop all that and go, okay, I'm willing to let it all go, and be shown, because actually the idea of consciously manifesting is usually a go, because the ego goes, okay, well, within this construct, you haven't bothered to really look at your fear or your doubts or your grievances or whatever. Within that, I now think that the best way of solving this problem is X, Y, and Z. But obviously that's quite limited. That's limited by the ego's thought system, which is limited by time and space. Whereas the miracle is not. The miracle is not limited by any of that. It's not bound by the laws of time and space. So you've got to kind of let everything go and going, I don't know. I really don't know how this is going to work out, how this is going to look. So, but I'm open to being shown. And then it's like another, force, this Holy Spirit comes in, which is really, it's not about manifesting on the level of form. It's about waking you up and waking other people up. That's its whole intention. So now, and that's the only true purpose that we have here. So then you're not worshiping these false idols that the ego holds up and says, oh, you need to do this because you need to start a new business because you need money, or because that's going to improve your status in the world, and you'll feel better about yourself, or whatever. Those are all false reasons. The true reason is actually, oh, hang on, this will actually help me to wake up. This process will help me to awaken. And so, and I'll learn the spiritual lessons I need to learn if I follow this path much quicker than if I stay in the old way. So, the process can be used for that kind of thing as well, as a, something that's really hurt you, a deep-seated resentment or grievance, or, that works for that too pretty well. So step 5 is compassion. You have compassion for yourself, which actually isn't mentioned in the Course. He does talk about the word empathy. He doesn't talk about compassion. So it's just the idea of going, okay, I can understand that someone may have done something unconscious, unloving, hurtful, but they did what they thought was right at the time. That was the best they could do at the time, given their understanding, their thought system at the time. So, as an extreme, Hitler did the best he could. He thought he was doing the right thing. Although, objectively speaking, it was awful, caused, massive amounts of pain and suffering. In his mind, that was, he was doing the best that he could for himself, for his nation. I'm sure he had, all kinds of delusions about this was actually right. Convinced himself it was the right way. And of course, history showed it clearly wasn't the right way. That was where he was at. So that can kind of soften that judgment. And then steps. So the first 5, parts of the first 5 steps are really just to kind of soften you up, to create a context for the letting go that happens in the next 5 steps. So feeling the emotions, this is really key. So it's like really going into it and feeling it and saying, I need to feel these, even though they might be painful. So most people don't want to feel painful emotions, so they just push them down. They repress them or they suppress them, and they just go, I don't want to deal with that, and I'll do something else. I'll distract myself, and we've created a world where there's many ways of doing that. Distract myself with food, sex, drugs, substances, TV, shopping, internet, whatever, to distract you from okay, I really do need to look at this, and I need to be willing to feel those emotions. They're not pleasant. They're not, but I'm not going to die. I'm just going to be willing to experience that pain fully, just for a few moments. And if you can do that, then you can let it go. It's paradoxical, but it's almost like the dark night. It's darkest before the dawn. The dark night of the soul. It's got to get really dark before you can go, okay, I'm willing to really let this go, which is step 7. It's deciding that you don't want this painful negative feeling inside of you to disturb your inner peace, cloud the awareness of your true happy self ever again. And so it's a decision. And that's the second key part, is you need to decide that I don't want this. I don't want to think the thoughts. I don't want to feel the feelings. I'm willing to let this go, using the breath as a tool to help you do that. Visualization, the light, all of those are just tools to activate your decision, to help you to really feel like that energy. It's an energy in motion. It's something that you're feeling in your body as well. That you can actually just drop that and start feeling just light and peaceful again. Did you experience any of that during the meditation?
Yeah, I did. It's been quite a long time where I've been asking, how do I actually let this stuff go? And it's only really been in, let's say, the last few, not even weeks, that it's not something that you give to somebody or you actually physically let go. It's a feeling, it's a lightness. And with that description, I was definitely sort of almost floating at that point. It felt like it. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. If you do the process, it's almost certain that you're going to feel some lightness, some sense of relief, no matter what it is. And sometimes you need to do it again and again, which is fine. As the stuff arises, you can use the process again. And then step 8 is just appreciate the perfection. So, I see it was all perfect. It was necessary. It was perfect, even though it hurt me. Apparently, it was necessary to have that situation happen so that I could really look. So it would force me to look, to go within, to look, to see the pain, to see the negativity. Because unless we're willing to see it and something triggers it, it remains there. It's stuck in your subconscious, and you can't see it in your subconscious. You have to bring it up into conscious awareness. And so the world is the perfect. Your life in the world is the perfect tool to help you to do that. That's really the purpose of your life. Okay, it's gonna help me to bring the stuff up. My life is going to bring stuff up, and then I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to let it go. As these thoughts and emotions arise, I'm going to let them go. I'm going to find that release. I'm going to find the lightness. And if I keep doing that, I'm undoing those programs, because they are just programs in my deeper mind, in my subconscious mind. And that's how you clear yourself systematically. So it's a very psychologically profound technique, because it goes right to the very core of your subconscious, where all the stuff sits, and it's saying, okay, but you can now access that. You don't have to go into hypnosis. In a way, you're doing a bit of that kind of meditation as self-hypnosis. You're going into an altered state to help you. But you can do it yourself. You don't need a psychologist, a practitioner. You probably, like me, you said you're a real bookworm. You've read hundreds of books. In the end, it comes down to a very, very simple thing. You need to learn to let go. Like in all of my reading and journeying and practicing, in the end, that's what it comes down to. There's one key skill that you need to master, and that's this letting go. if you can let go of negativity as it arises, you can be free. You can be happy, peaceful, loving, joyful, because that's your natural state. So what this teaching, there's two kind of general philosophies in the world. The one is a teaching that says, okay, you're not actually okay as you are, but you can be better. So you can grow. You can, the whole personal growth philosophy and the industry is based on that premise. Okay, you're not quite good enough as you are. They don't say that, but that's the implication. You're not quite good enough as you are, but if you do this process, if you do this practice, if you you work really, whatever I'm telling you to do, basically my program, my magic formula will get you to a place where you're going to be happier, more successful, etc. You're going to feel better about yourself. That's really the underlying philosophy of it. Whereas there's a more sort of spiritual philosophy, which Course in Miracles comes from the premise of, no, you're okay, you're perfect as you are already. You already are that. You simply have to remove the blocks to that awareness. That's all. So it's not like I have to do things to somehow become okay from a place of dysfunction. It's simply I have to look at the blocks and release them and restore my mind to the perfection that it really is. It's a very different, it's subtle, but it's a very different way of looking at it. And the one way is you're always going to be chasing, because I'm always trying to get better. And that's sort of what the world is predicated on. I'm always trying to improve, to be better, to do something that's going to improve me as a person, and that by the assumption is going to make me happier. But happiness is a bit like a butterfly. The more you seek it, the more you look for it, the more you actually you'll never find it. I'm just going to share this screen.
This process, Jono, while we're still on it, say I can do it in my own time, and that is it available? Because you said there were some things that were available to download.
They are. You can download this process. I did send you a preliminary email, but you appeared not to get it, so I'll resend it to you.
I definitely didn't. So I checked in my junk, and then I actually went to your site. Actually went onto your website, and I tried to subscribe to your mailing list, and it wouldn't let me subscribe.
Really? Okay, I need to check that. Anyway, just send me an email with, and I'll make sure I'll check the email address and make sure I've got it correct.
I've got your email address.
Do you not have my email address?
No, I don't think.
I'll
Oh, there we go. jono@lifebuild.com.
Yeah, that's correct.
Found it on your website. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I'm just going to kind of jump into a couple of slides here, and then just tell me if you want to call it a day. But that's the slide I wanted.
Yeah, would it be better maybe to go through it in detail at another time, so that we don't have to stop halfway through? I'm flagging.
Yeah. Let's do that. That's just the slide I wanted to show you. Happiness, the quote. Happiness is a butterfly, which, when pursued, is always just beyond your grasp. Put it into slideshow mode so you can see it.
Stunning.
But which, if you'll sit down quietly, may come and alight on you. Which is a lovely way of looking at it. It's already there. It's not something you have to seek. You can't seek happiness by definition. In the seeking of it, you're saying to yourself that you need something else, that you're not happy. By definition, it's a paradox. That's why the Buddha said that desire is the source of all suffering. Because as long as you're desiring something else, your mind is telling itself that you're not okay as you are in your current state. So this constant seeking of something to now fulfill you and make you happy is self-defeating.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to get there. We seek and we seek and we seek. And it's like, I'm looking for that happiness, but that happiness can only come when I'm just willing to go, okay, actually right here, right now, that's available. That's available to me. I don't have to seek it anyway. Which is really the idea of meditation, that you sit down quietly and you're not trying to be happy. You're just clearing the mind of all the clutter and all the blocks, and allowing this natural state of happiness to kind of arise, come over you. So it's very not the way that we were taught how to do life as typical Westerners. We were taught, that we need to be better, we need to strive, we need to work hard, and somewhere just beyond, over the horizon, on the horizon, that's where we need to get to. So it's, well, if we're at school, you need to get good marks, and then you need to get to university, so you can get a good degree. And then when you get a good degree, you're going to get a good job, and then, promotion, and so on and so on. And in the end, it leads to retirement. Okay, well now what? Retirement, after that, there's death, and so now what more do I have to look forward to? And if I was never really happy in the process, I kind of missed my entire life, thinking it would always be better sometime down the line. So it can't really be a goal in itself. The goal, as the Course teaches, is that we forgive our illusions. We let go of these things that block our happiness, and we allow this awareness to start arising again in our daily lives. I'm not saying you're going to go away and just sit still and meditate all day, every day. It's that you find that state. I'm not saying meditation is a very valuable practice to have those times where you do just sit, but you need to just find it in the moment. And that's in the full presentation, I talk about the idea of happiness and flow, how these two really go hand in hand. Happiness is the base state, and then flow is how you live this, in your daily life, in action. You're acting, you're doing things in your life, but you're in a state of underlying happiness, even though you're acting, you're in motion, and all of that leads to a state of what I call well-being, where you can actually be well. You can be well, but you can also do in the world. So be in the world, but not of the world, is what Jesus called it, which is really just another way of saying you're in a state of flow. Or you in the domain of the miraculous. It's another way of saying it. So all just language pointing to the same thing, that you're in the state of flow, you're happy, and you're actually able to operate much more effectively than you would if you were out of flow, if you were just striving and grinding away and trying to get the result that you want. The results come kind of naturally when you in a state of flow. So I'll explain all of this in a lot more detail next time. So do you want to join me next Thursday?
Yes.
We'll see if I can get a few more people, do a bit of promotion of it. In the meantime, I'll send you, if you drop me an email, I'll send you an email with this 10-step process that you can use.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Start practicing it. And I'll send you the recording of this meditation as well, so you've got that too.
That would be great. I find that recordings of meditations and that you always get something out each time you go through it. That's appropriate. So that would be great.
Well, that's kind of how meditation works, because it's never the same listen to the same recording and it's never exactly the same experience. Because you're different, your mind's different, in a different state, and you perceive it differently, and it, do different things. So you can listen to these recordings over and over, and get a different experience anytime. And I'll talk about next time, what the program is that I've put together, the Art of Letting Go Club, how it works, what's involved, and if you really want to study A Course in Miracles, not for the sake of studying A Course in Miracles, but to get you into this state of underlying happiness as your base state, of flow, of a sense of well-being. That's really the purpose of it. And I just put a program together to support you in a 6-week course to start with, but then there's an entire year of working through the course, because it's a year's program, where you get the guided meditations, you get discussion sessions about the concepts. You've experienced a couple of those, live meditations as well. Really just to help your learning, to help you learn it and practice it. Really, that's the key with the course. It's not just, oh yes, those are nice ideas intellectually. It's about actually really applying them in your daily life, so that you're living the teachings, and that's where the rubber meets the road. And that's not that easy to do, in my experience. That a lot of people, they like the ideas, they might dip in and out of the course, but to actually integrate it all into your mind and start living that way, in this sort of enlightened way that masters like Jesus and Buddha, others have shown us, that's really the art. That's why I call it the art of letting go. How do you actually do this? Be in the world, but not of the world. So I'll talk about that in detail next week. Feel free in the meantime to join me for any of the meditations. You've got the date, times of those. So it's 12:30 UK time, 1:30 SA time, every day, and then in the evenings at 6:30 South African time, 5:30 UK time, which will become 4:30 UK time on Sunday. But
On Sunday.
Yeah, as the clocks go back on Sunday. They're heading into winter. So yeah, feel free to join anytime, and you getting the recordings.
That's amazing.
Oh, enjoy it. That's the idea. So it's to glad you enjoy them. Do you listen to them every day?
I try. Let's be honest. Yeah, I actually need to. I mean, I'm notoriously good at intention to do these things, and then I'll set an alarm, and I'll try to get away from my desk, and then I press snooze, and then by the third time it's gone off. So I don't believe that meditation, and that is a very important aspect. Just sometimes when I'm in the flow with something I'm doing for work, then I keep it that way. So then I don't do it then.
Well, I mean, you can flow with stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that the danger is we just prioritize everything else.
Yes.
We don't take that time out to meditate, which is like the base. And I notice if I don't meditate, I really notice it. It's like you go out of that flow. You're not as calm, as peaceful. It's almost like a face wash for the mind, especially sort of you've been working all day, like late afternoon or in the evening. It's a great time just to take some time out, just because your whole quality of experience, that's what it comes down to, man. Your quality of experience for the rest of the evening is going to be very different compared with what it would have been if you were a little bit kind of out of sorts and out of flow, and so you may not be working or doing overtly productive, but just the quality of your experience is different. Life is just made up of the experiences you have, and the quality of those experiences. Then meditation just enhances moment by moment the quality of experience by doing a half an hour meditation.
Yeah,
you feel better for the rest of the evening. There's no doubt. The quality of your
absolutely.
sleep is enhanced.
And I mean, I've noticed definitely when I've done the whole meditation, I sleep better,
Hmm.
much better quality sleep. And then if I don't manage to do the longer meditation, then I roll it over to the next morning,
Yeah.
particularly on a weekend when I've got a little bit more time and I don't have to hit the ground running.
Hmm.
And then I'll actually start my weekend off with the longer one that I might have missed on the Friday because it's been a busy week or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it definitely creates some type of, it's almost like lanes rather than a great big canvas for the day. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to swim this lane, then I'm
Hmm.
going to finish
Hmm.
that, pop that. Sorry, I'm a swimmer, so I think
Hmm.
lanes. And then I'm going to choose a different stroke and then going to complete that lane and those lengths and then move on to something else. So they definitely help with that relaxation, the busy head, and then also with motivation.
Hmm.
It's
No,
wonderful.
if you remove the blocks, so that's the idea. You don't have to get motivated by trying to achieve something, some external goal. That's the Western way, set the
Yeah.
goal. Oh, when you get to the goal, you're going to be really pumped up and you're going to be energized and excited, and so you try and feel those emotions now, and then you go, right, yeah, I need to. This is just totally different. It's like just remove the blocks. Whatever's
Yeah.
blocking you, the fear, the negativity, that's blocking your flow. You just undo that, and then naturally you just like chop wood, carry water. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Okay, well, I'm chopping wood, I'm carrying water, I'm doing my version of that, and I'm just doing it in flow. It's actually quite a pleasant activity, and the activity itself is rewarding. I don't need the outcome for the reward. So it's a very, very different way of approaching it. Counterintuitive to some, especially if you've grown up with the goal setting, push, push, strive, strive mindset that is the Western way. Personal growth is based on that idea. And this is just saying, no, actually, that's not the way. It's not actually going to work. It's not going to make you happy. You might achieve stuff on the level of form, and people have done. But it comes at a price. If you do it that way, then you're never going to find happiness and peace and fulfillment. So you have to ask yourself, what was the point of it all?
Yeah.
You're like desperately trying to do all this stuff and working yourself sometimes to a standstill. And you were never really happy. You were never satisfied. You were never at peace. So what was the point of all of that mad activity there?
Absolutely. After all, we are human beings, not human doings.
Yeah. So it's like being fundamental, and then the doing comes from the being. The flow comes out of that connection with your source. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next week.
Me
Uh,
too.
and in the meantime, we've got some stuff to work with. So
Wonderful.
do join us on Sunday. We're going to have a discussion on meditation discussion on Sunday. Okay, at 2:00
Stunning.
African time, yeah, which is 12 UK time. If I'm
Okay,
getting my clocks go back on that Sunday morning. So I'll leave you in peace to your anniversary. Enjoy. Blow
Thank
it.
you.
Spend some time with your husband.
Yeah, I think he's practically ready for bed by now.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you, Jono. Thanks a
okay.
lot.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys. Have a
Have a
nice
good.
evening.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
for now.